Hello, amazing souls. Welcome. My name is Anka, and today I want to bring up a pattern that I'm seeing playing out. I've had the same discussion, essentially, if you remove the personal stories and unfoldings, with three different people 3 days in a row. And so I thought, okay, we need to discuss this because it's very tricky. We have moved into a whole new bandwidth, a whole new world. And this Fool card, right, for this week, for this period, is very essential that we have moved literally into a whole different space. We have pierced a veil. And my friend also got the Fool card, and we don't need the Fool card. The Fool card was like a confirmation because things are like different, like what's going on, and you might not be able to articulate. It's hard to kind of put it all together. That's why we need to share and talk about it. But things are different in a different way than before. So we've been in preparation, and we've had these small shifts, right? We had the solar eclipse. We had we integrated that. We integrated shadows. We integrated the solstice, end of July. We integrated these moons in Capricorn. We integrated the time Mayan calendar, whatever. Or anyway, it also kind of doesn't matter if you're exactly within this wave or, a week behind, a month behind, 3 months behind. This is just a mechanism of how we shift through the dimensions and the densities. So we are in a density we're moving. So before the way, and these are just kind of words, we kind of moved timelines and we moved through dimensions, right? Here's a click, here's a click, here's a click. What happened, I don't know, 3 days ago, 5 days ago, again, recently, we shifted densities. We went from cold molasses to warm honey, clover honey, the light stuff. And what I want to talk about, if you're not aware that we shifted into a whole new realm with whole new beings and influences and patterns and tricks and tests and initiations, you're still operating within the wrong density, applying tools that are lower. They're not as powerful. They're not appropriate to what's going on in this realm, and you are being tricked. So I want to use this analogy because this was so good. My husband does jujitsu, and it was just I draw so many lessons from his jujitsu journey, because to me it's like the same. It's unbelievable. And imagine, so he went from white belt to blue belt, and let's call that this veil that we have pierced through. I remember the space right before he got the blue belt, and he had kind of had like a feeling, and there were a couple hints, and anyway, and as he was approaching this blue belt, this veil, he was ramping up, right? Everything that he was doing, he was preparing for this piercing and getting his blue belt. And then I remember him coming home and he got the blue belt, and I'm like, oh my God, so great. So, now that you're here, maybe you can coast, celebrate, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what are you talking about? These next 2 weeks are going to be the most hardest weeks in my jujitsu experience. And I was so surprised, right? And he explains further. It's like everybody in the gym is going to test me. Everybody's going to try to submit me. Okay, show me what you got, new blue belt, right? And he's like, I'm prepared. I need to like really gear up and, defend my title, defend the belt. And yeah, he was a new beginner again in a whole new belt. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Just because we have pierced this belt, we can't coast. We can't, there's a celebration, but the celebration is so subtle. It's so internal. And we have to figure out now the new rules, the new tools, my new practice. I feel again, yes, it's like wake up with the sunset. We're also in the Leo season. Work with the sun gazing. I got my sun jewelry on. Get back to sort of basics. No, not, they're not basics, but a routine that will bring you into that focus, into the right mindset to kind of overcome this area of defense, because that's how it feels. It feels like we need to make sure that we can defend the new self. So the pattern is all about staying and being and defending and holding the new self that we have achieved. So all this, the previous bandwidth was about us growing into the self, right? So okay, slow down. The little shifts that we've worked on, this stepping into our authenticity, authority, holding more light, holding the responsibility that comes within the light, all that stuff got us the badge, got us the colors, got us the increased awareness, maybe some new gifts. And we pierced the veil. And now this self has to be applied. It has to be defended. That's kind of the only way. And it is I feel like it's a good match to the word. And the way I'm seeing it play out within the pattern is that the new tests, the new situations, maybe even the new realizations, the new messages that you're getting, the new beings, the new forces that have access upon this new self, your new consciousness, many of those are a test. Are you who you are? Or how are you presenting yourself in this new space? And now I'm seeing how all these realizations about being humble, being meek, being the difference between humble and humility, and now coming into the sun. And I've been working with Ra again. How all that is playing out, all those things were realizations for us to show up and present ourselves in this new space. And we're being tested with strategies and tests that are completely new to us. We're now beginners again in a new bandwidth. And so it might take us a little bit to figure out, oh, that was not what I thought. I don't have mastery over this, right? So coming into a new practice, coming into a new presentation of yourself, and the practice is for that, to keep that focus of who you are. Who are you? Hold that. So for example, what I'm seeing is that the tricks and the situations that are showing up call a scrutiny and call an analyzation to a different level, and it has to be from your new self, from this grander, from the now, holding multiple perceptions. Otherwise you're going to get tricked. Otherwise you're going to go into, because they're going to try to pull you to your old self. They're going to try to pull you to the different realms. So for example, I had a bunch of dreams. I was very actively working on something, and I don't remember the dreams or what I was working on, but I remember I was very busy in my dream state. And I woke up, and it was like my son was calling for me. My son's soul sort of was calling for me. And I immediately removed myself from what I was working on, which was my passion. I was so into this dream. I was flowing. I was doing my work, and I was interrupted. And the tendency for me in that state was, oh, he needs me. Oh my God, my son, what is happening to him? And I immediately got into this worry. I went into, oh, let me go into this space of fear and what is happening, because it's my son. And as I was trapped, I could feel the shift in frequency, right? From the space of, I was in the flow, I was in my power, blah, blah, blah. I was doing my work, regardless what I was doing, to figuring stuff out from fear. Why is he in distress? Like, oh my God, poor him. Like, Mama Bear is going to come to the rescue. And as I was traveling down the lower frequency, I caught myself, and I realized that was a lie. It was an untruth. I knew that first of all, my son is pretty powerful himself. He's been already through some experiences. It's like he can hold it. He has protection. There's none of that stuff happening. This is not happening in actuality. Something tried to get me out of my focus and out of my work and pull me to a higher, a lower realm. So I caught myself and I said, no, I am this. I work with sun energy right now. I have sun flow, high creational energy flowing through, and I'm holding that, and you can't take me out of that space. And if I need to be working on something, it will show up in the space that I'm already at. I don't have to travel to a less denser area for me to do any of this work that I'm doing. And that was a huge lesson. So that was my own pattern. I had very similar examples of this pattern play out in the discussions that I was having. So, for example, loved ones that are not them. There is a mimicking of a loved one coming in dream states, or higher beings. Now we have, sorry, I'm going back. We have access to more beings scrutinizing who you are working with, because these beings, it's like they have no problem shape shifting in who you have been working with, a loved one, and they show up as them, yet not 100%. Something is different, right? They can't quite 100% take on that energy. So there are clues when you interact with, or they're coming into your dream state. But what I'm noticing is that the trick is so scammy. It's the scam is at such a high level. It's going to try to get you wherever your softness is, wherever that fear can come into you, right? Whatever that weakness is, it's coming through that channel. And if you're not super cautious and super scrutinizing the energy, but how is this for my best interest? If you can't quite, okay, maybe a different way. How is this in my best interest within the expansion, my further expansion of my current self, right? And what I'm noticing is that when we go back to, I still have to work on myself. I'm still not worthy of this. I still have to heal this. I still have to move something. Oh, my shadow, whatever the story is, whatever we think we're not enough, whatever we think it's a negative thing, whenever we think we still have work to do, we have to save somebody, we have to do. That's a trap, most likely, right? I want you to pause before you act, and also realize, is this taking me into a different density, a different space? That's how you know. And yeah, I thought it was worthy of mentioning this, because we're done. I feel like we still quite haven't realized how complete we are. And when we work from that completeness, which to me, it's this Six of Cups type energy, it's this renewed faith from knowing. There is a subtle, actually, it's not really so subtle anymore. It's like when you put your attention on this expanded self, there's a love, there is a power, but it's not a soft love. There is a powerful love. When you tune into that within yourself, the amount of energy available to you, it's insane. And so actually, just tuning in, I just got dizzy. Just tuning into that is okay. Different topic, and this video might be longer than what I want, but whatever. Since it's here, I want to mention it. For those of you who have a great willpower, and this might not resonate with everybody, this is all me, and I'm a fire element. For me, tapping into willpower. The way I also I work with tarot. I do tarot kind of from the tower. So applying will, it's almost like I have to be careful, like how fast do you want to go? Because I can, bring a structure down within overnight. Okay. When in this space, okay. Because remember the first analogy, we moved from cold molasses to, what did I say? Warm clover honey. When you apply that willpower in this density, you're going to go way further at way greater speeds. And so what I'm realizing that if you have pierced the veil with very high momentum, you can rest because the momentum that you have is going to carry you. And for this type of energy like me, stabilizing the four, right? Four are so hard. Four, to me, the energy of the four, stabilization, is the hardest thing to do. So you have to kind of play around with applying will. And it's almost like as soon as you initiate will, you need to rest and allow that will to carry you. Again, the rules of the game have changed. We're trying to figure out how these elements within us, however we move energy, we have to refigure this all out because the density is different, right? And so, yeah, just careful about the air, the sword, your focus, right? That's why you're going back to the practice. You have to be clear, especially if you have a lot of fire with a non-intentional focus, you're going to move in that direction. That's how it feels. Even though we're so early on in this energy, it just feels like, how about we slow down a little bit more until we figure out how this density works, what the new rules are, what a new forces are that are working on me. How do I control those forces? How do I, right? Like, how much of that do I allow to be applied on me? All those things are so different. And so, yeah, very careful with willpower this time around. So that's what I'm working on. I'm especially working with the sun. It's like, whoa, energy comes up, but then immediately I have to, okay, so with this wind, so it's like, yes, tap into fire, but don't be the fire. Tap into wind, but don't be the wind. You know what I mean? Because I feel that those are the two elements that are, but that's, it might not resonate with you, just whatever resonates with you, because that's what I am. I'm fire and air. So I feel that might be just very personal. Anyway, deep breath. This is, I can't celebrate enough how amazing this all is. And I'm looking forward to exploring all this with you and with us, within me, and applying ourselves in this new density that we're occupying. So much love, so much curiosity, so much play. Yes, I'm sending you all that playfulness and expansion and fun towards you. Have a fun week and weekend. Bye.